And then they keep jumping up. And your office already received $241,000 in additional salary for 2025. And one investment manager received $43,849 in raises, and the other $48,305, and that's since March of 2025. So we're talking, 13 months at the most. Now, chief deputy was given a $39,991 raise. Chief of staff a $39,991 raise. Chief officer a $34,745 raise. And so since Mr. Thurston became treasurer, we're looking at, again, this is from the numbers I get from our staff, $493,223 in raises. Now, I want to keep good people, but can you imagine what we'd be doing if we extrapolate all the way across, not just state government, but just even among the constitutional officers? I'm wondering I also wish the treasurer was here. Maybe he could just give me a straight up answer, but would you guys go along with, or your boss go along, you think, with maybe some special language that the people could receive from this appropriation? And then if some, Jamie Dimon guy applies and wants to be your financial manager, we could maybe pay him more or something. I'm just, your logic makes perfect sense. But if we spread that around every deserving person in state government, we couldn't pass a budget in here. And I'm just expecting the elected officials maybe to set a little bit better example of answering the questions. I appreciate very much Representative Kavanaugh's statement, and she said about heartburn. I mean, I had to take an extra Nexium this morning because of the heartburn. So I'm not, again, perhaps we need to do some special language that would limit these raises to certain people and not us write a check for whatever that amount I just said, $493,223. Of course, we were over $800,000 before the amendment, but just get some more specifics. And that's a question. Do you think that Treasurer Thurston would be willing to do that, or is that something we need to sit down over a table and see what negotiating room we have, so to speak?
Yes, Senator, thank you. I would hope that throughout the conversations that we've had that you've maybe taken away from that we have a willingness to work with you all. We understand that the importance of this committee and that you hold the purse strings for the state. So we would never turn down discussions with anyone here about any concerns that you might have.
Well, are you telling me that while you're certainly willing to talk, you can't speculate on what the treasurer's answer would be to the question that I just asked?
No. I know for a fact that the treasurer would more than happily sit down with anyone.
No, that part I know he will. I consider him my friend. I think he's a great guy.
Okay, then maybe I don't understand your question.
Do you speculate that he would agree to some kind of cap, either a percentage cap or I was even thinking if someone got a ridiculous, I won't say ridiculous, a double-digit percentage raise in 2025, that maybe they would not get a raise for the upcoming fiscal year, or it would be capped at a certain amount, where the people that are making, there's a couple here, 7.15%, 7.35%, 3.68% raise, that those people, perhaps, we'd be willing to see that their raises go up and more commensurate with what we're seeing for other folks, deserving folks all across state government. And you may say, I don't know, I can't, he's not here and you can't ask him, but I do need to get a feel as, can we get an answer from him, either your best guess or something maybe he needs to come back tomorrow or something.
Senator, I think it's hard for him. Speaking for someone else, it may be difficult for him to say that. And we do have lots of questions still in the queue, but do you want to try to attempt to answer that question?
Yeah, I do not believe that the treasurer would be opposed to conversations about a cap.
Would you be willing, excuse me, if I could just quickly wrap up, Mr. Chairman, would you be willing to come back to us with some proposed special language or something that would give you some more money, but also have some, it wouldn't be what I consider a blank check to an individual?
Well, yes. I mean, if short answer is yes.
Okay.
I do know that we're running short on time as far as this,
I
fiscal
promise
session
you,
goes.
we'll get you a budget. It may not be exactly the one you want, but I promise you, this body will get you a budget.
I've heard that.
We don't
before.
not
Yes,
fund
sir.
constitutional officers. Well, there was that little game and fish thing a couple of years ago, but otherwise, we tend to take care of business here. But if you
Senator,
would visit with him, I
I'm-
think we could do that.
I'm not trying to
done,
cut you
Mr.
off, but there
Chairman.
are quite a few people still in line for questions. So, Representative Pilkington, you're recognized.
Thank you. I'm over here.
Yes, sir.
Yeah, I think to echo what my colleagues have said, I think the concern is when we were here last time, it was we needed additional funds for the investment team, and then the money didn't go to the investment team. Now you're asking us to trust you again. So I think trust me, bro, is not really a policy that I would like to follow when creating budgets here at the state. And then additionally, while I've got the mic, I'm curious because if we pass this, we'll have the highest paid scheduler. Your office will have the highest paid scheduler in the state, more than the governor. Is the treasurer in demand that much that we need to pay his scheduler more than the governor's schedule? Because if they are, I seriously doubt the ability of the scheduler to not schedule him to be here today to answer those questions.
Well, traditionally speaking, the
Lots of stuff
constitutional
going
officer
on today,
doesn't
folks.
appear at these
Let me
types
put
of
them
meetings.
on mute.
I handle the day-to-day stuff. Our team handles the day-to-day stuff. The treasurer doesn't shirk from anyone. I can guarantee
Let me
you
put
that.
this guy's on mute for a little bit. Talk about what's going to go on later today. Well, folks, this is Kenny, just the right angle. I decided instead of to do the usual counter before we start, is just to have this meeting here. Several of departments are now trying to negotiate for their salaries. We're in an Arkansas fiscal session. It's hundreds of thousands of dollars that are being debated on. What I want to talk about what's supposed to happen about 15 minutes after this, and I'll share this tab. So the meeting that you see now is joint budget, and they're discussing all kinds of important issues. But afterwards, they're going to debate on this amendment. It's SB 30. And according to the group Arkansas Alcatraz, there's supposed to be an amendment to this bill, which will defund the position of Joe Proffery, who was the guy who was put in charge, who was supposed to be running the, what is it? It's the Arkansas Alcatraz, Franklin County Prison Project, which is now maybe an ICE detention center, which might be something else. Honestly, don't know. It's kind of weird on what they're actually trying to make this thing supposed to be. It's even kind of before then. Here's kind of a timeline. This is also from Arkansas Alcatraz of who Proffery is. On January 10th, 2024, Joe Proffery was fired by the Arkansas Board of Corrections. That was back before Sarah Huckabee Sanders appointed a bunch of political hacks to run that organization. Sarah Huckabee Sanders hired him the next day. On November 7th, Joe Proffery sat in the gym in Charleston and talked down to citizens of Franklin County, telling us that the community would be involved in every step of the way. This was in regards to the Franklin County Prison. I assume Charleston's the town in there. On March 20th, 2025, Joe Proffery openly lied to the Joint Budget Committee, this committee that you're looking at now, about the infrastructure of the Franklin County site. On September 9th, 2025, Joe Proffery failed to appear at the Joint Peer Review Committee to testify about the shamefully bad management of this project. I played a little bit of that video where Terry Rice asked about this person. On September 23rd of 2025, Joe Proffery was caught bringing ICE agents to the Franklin County site unannounced. I think that was when they were starting to realize that people were already opposing the Franklin County facility. So they're wanting to try to somehow sell it by saying, oh, it's going to be an ICE facility, as if we needed one in that area. I guess the other significant date that you could add is March 31st. That is when the Sarah Huckabee Sanders, Chris Caldwell consultant class, conservative hating cowards that run the Republican Party lost the Republican primary elections. And then March 31st, I believe they lost some more positions even then. So it's been pretty bad day for them. It has been a bad year overall for the Franklin County Prison, for the few people that seem to want that. Right now, they're going over the treasurer's budget, and looks like they all voted on it. So they're going to have 2 more items, maybe. I'm not entirely sure. Language hood, it needs to be. Oh, maybe they're ending. They sometimes
10
bounce around the agenda. Let me see here.
All have special language. We'll refer all those without objection to special language. Seeing no objection, those are referred to special language. And members, that brings us down to bills to be considered.
Where is bills to be considered here?
You should have a handout there in front of you that says 26 supplementals, 27 reappropriations. I'll give everybody a moment to get that handout in front of you. We'll start with the supplementals. We do those as one batch. Yeah.
Okay. They're still working on other stuff. Item D, and then I guess it'll be item E. So it looks like they could be here for another 30 minutes, an hour or so. I'm not going to spend all day just kind of watching these people, but mainly let me get back to what's going on here. Anyway, Arkansas Alcatraz has been leading the effort and keeping the giant prison from being set up here. And so far, they've kind of done a pretty good job of keeping up with who's doing what exactly is going on, how the prison, some of the big money that's behind the prison, a lot of other stuff. So you can check them out for all kinds of data regarding this, what appears to be a crooked pet project that nobody seemed to really want, and yet is still being pushed about. It has been put on hold. However, it wouldn't surprise me if there may be some attempt to try to turn it into like some kind of ICE facility or something else, because it's pretty obvious that there was a lot of money that was put into this project, and B, pushing for politicians to be part of this project. And so far, the people in that area have been against this. The most of Arkansas has been against this, and yet it's still being kind of pushed about. It's kind of this hill that Sarah Huckabee Sanders is willing to die on, willing to sacrifice a large part of the Republican Party. As I've mentioned before, in the last election, the Arkansas Legislature lost overall during the Trump presidency, when Trump overwhelmingly won, and there was a big red wave in 2024. While that was all going on, Arkansas Republicans actually lost a seat in the Arkansas legislature. And then during the primary elections, there was a special election regarding Carlton Wing's seat in North Little Rock, and their Democrats won overwhelmingly. So Sarah Huckabee Sanders could have made a real effort to try to save those positions but she didn't. Instead, she was trying to kick conservatives out and failed. And I've talked about that as well. But this should be going on today. It's SB 30, Office of the Governor, Amendment JAR 144 by Senator Rice. These are the members of the committee. And Arkansas Alcatraz also has a great way to, if you want to call and text and email, especially if they are your senators. And I'll share this tab here. Matter of fact, yeah, this is a much better post than this. Let's see if I can share this. Here, I can put this in comments. This is too big to put into the chat, but I can put it into comments, I think, because comments allows a lot more. Well, no, I can't. I can put it in sections. So what they've done is they've kind of put people into categories as to who you can try to influence, people that you really shouldn't waste your time with because they've already made up their mind, and then people that, you know, they're likely going to support this. Not quite sure. Basically, they need 7 votes. So if you want to get involved, you're like, hey, I didn't like that stupid stuff they did with the Franklin County Prison. I don't like what's going on with the Republican Party, how it's being controlled by the consultant class. If you're sick of that stuff, then go ahead and contact these senators, especially if they are in your area. Definitely try to contact them if they are your state senator, because you have a lot more clout if they happen to be one that you could vote for or against, or maybe even run against. Well, folks, that's mainly all I wanted to really talk about. I might, if they put it up when this committee ends, I might go back and broadcast a live stream of what happens with that. But other than that, I'm going to go ahead and stay off here. I'm not saying what they're doing here isn't important. Looks like they may end. So they may do a 15-minute break. It looks like they're about to end here. Yeah, and so 15 minutes from now, I'll try about that time. So let's try maybe 9:40, 9:55, I guess. I will try and put that information up. And then I'll put kind of an image again talking about what I talked about earlier. Who knows? Maybe we can get this dude fired. Or help get this dude fired. I can't take full credit for this. So I've got that put in through. All right, folks, let me go ahead and bounce off here for just a little bit, take a little bit of a 15-minute break, and we'll try again to see what happens. Maybe, yeah, so they just ended, so it should be 9.